All right, so in this video, I'm going to show you how the Clubhouse is laid out, take you through the navigation tools, and teach you how best to use it. The first thing I'd like you to notice is that the navigation buttons are laid out in two dimensions. They're laid out across the top, and they're laid out across the side. They're similar with some differences. Let's start across the top. The feed button takes you to the homepage, which is where we are now, right? So this is the feed, and this shows you all the activity. For example, when a new post, a daily drop of wisdom, comes on, you will see it. You will see it here. So you've got a whole number of quick summaries of everything that's been happening in the Clubhouse. All right, so that's the feed. On the side, the feed will also show you some of the upcoming events like office hours, town hall meetings, and so on, along with highlights of trending posts. Right. So the feed is your homepage. The daily drops of wisdom, which we're going to come back to when we look at the side navigations over here, takes you to the foundational service in which as began and on which it will rely going forward. All the knowledge that we're accumulating will be organized in the Daily Drops of Wisdom. You've also got a quick and dirty calendar of events, which I will show you briefly over here, right, laid out as a calendar, and you can quickly scan it to see what's going on. And then in the members section, you can see who the other members are, and you can reach out to them for direct communication, direct messaging. All right. So very simple layout across the top. If you look all the way on the right, you'll see a bunch of administrative buttons which will help you, including a bookmarks button which will allow you to save some of your favorite posts. You've got a messaging utility that you can use to communicate with me and with each other. And you'll also see a notification button for things that are being sent to you for your attention. On the left side, you've got some repetition. The space overall, the As Clubhouse is divided into two tiers. You've got the daily drops of wisdom, and you've got the inner circle. So let's take those one at a time. The daily drops of wisdom is composed of articles that relate to the knowledge that we seek as we approach freedom from doctors and drugs. They're laid out with a graphic that'll quickly help you understand what it's about and a title that is linkable. So, for example, America's First Feedlots, which was posted on a Thursday and a Throwback Thursday, provides you with the quiz, with the answer to that quiz, and the podcast. Every one of these sections, every one of these articles contains the content in written form. It contains a PDF when it's available, right? So sometimes we have original articles. Some of them are quite old. For example, this one was published in 1972. These can be very hard to find, and so when I'm able, which is often, I'll share those and embed them directly into the post so that you can read the details for yourself if you like. You can dig in much deeper than my summaries. And at the bottom, you've got an audio podcast summary. What you'll also notice is that at the bottom of each one of these posts, you've got a section where you can share your thoughts, right? So these threaded conversations allow us to interact with each other, share questions, opinions, and so on for each one of these posts. The daily drops of wisdom are organized by subject matter. So every day of the week has a different sort of category. Social Sunday, Metabolic Monday, Fat Tuesday, Wicked Wednesday, Throwback Thursday, Fitness Friday, Circadian Sabbath, and you can sort. Right, so you can sort by category if you like. Right, so here, for example, Fat Tuesday, you've got all the articles related to fats, dietary fats, body fat, and so on. I'm going to go back to all over here. What you'll also notice across the top of the Daily Drops of Wisdom space, I have posted articles that I think are particularly poignant, particularly meaningful, and I would encourage you to look at them. So, for example, foundational sort of stuff, you need to eat fat. You do. You need to eat fat. And here's an article that I posted back in 2024 related to a really important, a landmark article published by George and Mildred Burr in 1929. That explains why we need to eat fat, in this case with the PDF, and you can read the original work from the 1920s. In addition to the daily posts that you'll get here, incidentally, you will be getting a weekly summary of the content. So 7 days a week, that summary will include at a minimum a summary of those 7 posts, right? So Daily Drops of Wisdom. This is an independent tier, but members who join the inner circle will also be getting the Daily Drops of Wisdom. Again, knowledge is the basis of everything that we do here at ES, and this is where it's compiled in the Daily Drops of Wisdom. The inner circle is a limited membership. It's an exclusive. Space. It's not available to everyone, unlike the Daily Drops of Wisdom, where millions of people can join and subscribe if they like. But the inner circle is just for just for a small number of members, where they can introduce themselves, have an open conversation where we can have different topics that we can post about. So, for example, one of our members invited us to the annual meeting of the International Society for Sports Nutrition. He's the president of that society, and we can have a post about that sort of activity. One of the really important features of the inner circle, in my view, is the podcast library. Right. So you noticed when we talked about the articles in the Daily Drops of Wisdom, every article had its own podcast that was embedded in there, and you can certainly listen to it that way. However, there are now hundreds of podcasts, and you don't want to be jumping around necessarily from article to article, and so the inner circle compiles them. Now, this library is not available to the general public. It is available only to the inner circle membership. And what it does, in contrast to what you saw in the Daily Drops of Wisdom, where it's embedded there, is it allows you to listen to them one after the other. So they queue up and they scroll one into the next without requiring you to bounce between the different articles. Okay, here too. We have an organization by topic. So, for example, you can certainly listen to all of them one after the other. But who knows? Maybe you want to listen to podcasts related to metabolism, right? So Metabolic Monday, you can filter and organize by that category and listen to all the podcasts one after the other. Pick up a glass of wine, pick up a glass of coffee, whatever, and just listen to one after the next, right? So podcast library organized by category and rolling one after the other. They're all queued up. Events is a busy part of the inner circle. There are different kinds of events. For example, book clubs, office hours, expert seminars, town hall meetings. We're going to have in-person events also. For example, casual get-togethers, but also more involved retreats, trips, and so on. Inner circle members will be invited to all of the above. And so be sure to check here. For example, one of the events that's going to be ongoing, that's going to be very regular, is going to be office hours. I'll be hosting those. So if you have any questions about what's going on, if you have questions about the content that we've been looking at, if you have other things that you want to talk about, events that you want to host, come on in. Just drop by the office. I'll be there, and I will welcome you with open arms. And maybe you'll get to meet some of the other members that way too. Art, available in the inner circle, is a look at how people communicate about all the things that we care about: nutrition, agriculture, sports, and so on. I think the art collection offers a really interesting and important perspective on our world, on how we got here and how people see it. It's also highly entertaining. So, to summarize, the feed is where you start, right? This is your master dashboard with all the recent activity, with upcoming events, with trending posts. Across the top, you've got quick access to the Daily Drops of Wisdom and the calendar of events in just summary form, as well as administrative buttons over on the right. On the left, you've got a set of navigation buttons, including, again, the foundational Daily Drops of Wisdom. If you join the inner circle, you will have much more, many more services than you would if you stay only with the Daily Drops of Wisdom, including invitations to all of our events, and there will be lots. Most of them will be digital if you will be in real life, in person, and then a very convenient podcast library, as well as an open conversation. A few other administrative links on the bottom here. The homepage will take you to the worldofez.com website. You probably don't need it at this point if you're already a member of the club, but if you've got friends who are thinking about joining us, people you'd like to invite, this would be a convenient way to get them introduced and oriented as to what all this is, administrative stuff, terms of use, and so on. And that's it. That's the summary. So if you have any questions, you know where to reach me. I look forward to talking with you.